It's a Wednesday edition of NFL Live. That means news on all 32 teams. There's something for everyone over the course of the next 90 minutes, and you can help keep us honest. We're glad to have you with us. Wendy Nix, Josina Anderson, Teddy Bruschi, Coach John Fox. We will start with a notable decision by the Washington Redskins that came late yesterday. The team claimed linebacker Reuben Foster off of waivers from the San Francisco 49ers 3 days after he was arrested on a charge of misdemeanor domestic violence. He has been placed on the commissioner's exempt list. That means he cannot practice or play in games. He can, however, be at the team facility for a reasonable amount of time for workouts and meetings. The NFL continues to review. Here's a portion of the statement released by Senior VP of Player Personnel, Doug Williams. The Redskins fully understand the severity of the recent allegations made against Reuben. If true, you can be sure these allegations are nothing our organization would ever condone. Let me be clear. Reuben will have to go through numerous steps, including the full legal process, an investigation, and potential discipline from the league, as well as meetings with counselors associated with the team before he will ever have the opportunity to wear the burgundy and gold as a player. To recap the situation in full, Foster was arrested in January for possession of marijuana. In April, he was charged with domestic violence, criminal threat, and weapons possession. This from a February arrest. The domestic violence charge was dismissed and the weapons charge reduced to a misdemeanor. Foster was suspended the first 2 games of 2018, this for violating the league's conduct and substance abuse policies. And then last Saturday, he was arrested at the 49ers Hotel in Tampa for an alleged domestic violence incident. The 49ers at that point decided they had had enough. They had supported Reuben Foster up until that point. They released him, and the Redskins made the decision to claim him off waivers. Teddy, I'll start with you. What's your take on that decision?
Well, I'd have to get as much information as I possibly could, because also what's been said is that Doug Williams leaned on Alabama players that are on the roster, and the Alabama players vouched for him. So being a player, if I was a Washington Redskin player in that locker room, a non-Alabama player, I'd probably try and get as much information as I could from those Alabama players that vouched for Reuben Foster, and just try to get as much information as I could, because realistically, he can't play right now. He can't practice right now. So really, is it my problem? Because right now, they're just focusing on winning football games. Football players, they have a ability to just focus on their own thing, what they have to do. But this is a little bit different. This is domestic violence. This is a serious issue. So to understand who the personnel department just decided to make a member of your team, you'd want to try to understand who he is, what the thought process was in bringing him into this team, and whoever knew him, whoever was close to him, try to get as much information as you could.
Teddy's right, Coach, that he's not going to play anytime soon. There's a judicial process. The league will have its own investigation. So all of that will take care of itself in due time. As a coach, though, you do have to have some message to your players, because whether he plays or whatever happens, they're going to be asked about this today. It's a hot-button issue. It's emotional for a lot of people. How do you manage this, and what do you tell your team?
Well, I think you got to be honest. And, every organization has a different tolerance level, for a hit like this. And let's face it, I mean, something this out there is going to be a hit in the media. It's going to be a little bit of a distraction. The coach is going to have to deal with it. The organization is going to have to deal with it. The reality is you're, innocent till proven guilty. And right now, there's not going to be any real advantage for the Redskins because he's not able to play or practice or improve their football team. So it's going to be a distraction. How they handle it, I think, is going to be critical. And then let the courts decide the legal issue and what's involved in it, which will be down the road. So
I would think that you'll hear the word process coming out of that locker room today, in terms of there's a legal process that has to be played out. And right now, I mean, just like Doug Williams sort of referenced in his statement, that he can't wear the burgundy and gold until this process plays out. So if these allegations are true, I mean, I can take from that statement that he won't be wearing that uniform, that this will be a very short stint with the Washington Redskins, because they want to know if this really happened. But it seems like they are taking a risk to get a good player onto their roster.
Jojo?
Well, I think, first of all, you understand why this whole issue has flared in the media. because the issue of domestic violence is so serious, okay? No one should ever touch a female in any appropriate way, whether physical or in an appropriate location on her body. So we understand that first and foremost. I think myself and Wendy, as women and female representatives on this panel, we are underlining that to the fullest. That being said, as you have echoed and as you have echoed, Coach, you know, these are allegations until certain things are proven innocent. And as you were running through Reuben Foster's record, if you listen to a portion of that, it said that the domestic violence issue that he had was dismissed. And I think it's appropriate to underline the reason why it was dismissed is because the female that is involved with this situation took back the things that she said and claimed that she didn't do it and admitted that she was upset with him. And so just to underline what's going on with the situation with the 49ers letting go of him now, I think that what we can underline is that there are more details that are associated with this incident that we don't all know yet. However, what we can underline is that the 49ers got rid of him for a reason why they thought was important for their organization, because at the very least, we do know that Reuben Foster was again around this female, which for everything that I understand, a broken understanding that the organization had with Reuben Foster, and that part he can't deny that at the very least, he put himself in a situation for certain allegations to be claimed on. Until everything is cleaned up and we know everything, I think that's where it stands. But I do believe that Doug Williams' statement is alluding to the fact that there is more to this situation. And if it comes out on the negative end, they're making clear that they want nothing to do with this. But if everything else becomes adjudicated and it comes out on another end, then you understand why they're there to claim him at the end.
Let me just say this, though, in an effort to be responsible, and I know, JoJo, you are. We're lucky enough to have domestic violence experts here to walk us through this and counsel us. And I will say that while what you said, that Ms. Ennis did recant her story, is completely accurate, it does fall within a pattern of consistent domestic abuse. Not to say this is true or not true, but she would not be the first victim to find pressure or to find a reason to take back her story. That alone doesn't make anybody guilty or innocent, though, and I just think we have to make that clear.
Absolutely, and I also want to add to that every situation is individual, whether there are trends or histories with every situation. And I just want to kind of be, fully transparent, that I am aware of certain details with regards to this situation. Certain conversations are off the record, so I'm doing my best as we are to talk around the situation. And until everything is adjudicated and fully, I guess revealed to the public, then we'll be able to speak around it more. But the only thing that I can underline is wait for more details to come out, and then we all can weigh in even more so at that point.
Is it worth it if you're the Washington Redskins, and I don't mean, again, guilty, innocent, that just to have to right now at this point in the season, knowing that this player can't play anytime soon. Now, he's an excellent player, I grant you that, but at this point, Coach Teddy, are you guys, do you do it as an organization, or do you say fair or not fair, it's just too much trouble?
Like I said, I've been with 8 different organizations, and I can honestly tell you that all 8 of them handled these matters, as far as any kind of PR hit or any kind of distraction to the football team completely different. And it goes all the way back to even on your draft board. There are certain guys that if there's any checkered past in any areas from, whatever illegal actions might have taken place, domestic violence or else, they're off the board. People don't even draft them or even entertain the idea, no matter how talented they are, that they do draft them. So each organization, and again, you have an owner, they're all independent contractors. There's 32 different ones. I know they're under the same shield, but each owner makes those decisions. And I'd be surprised if they weren't involved.
It's no secret that teams take chances. They take chances that they have what it takes within their organization to make it right for this player to be successful. Many players this season have taken chances on players that have they're one suspension away or whatever it may be. Each case is different. I understand that. And this is a very serious case. I understand that too. I don't think they're leaning on these Alabama players in the locker room, how they know him, his history with them. If he does clear this process and he becomes a member of their team, do they trust their environment for him to be a part of this? They're all banking on all of that. It's a lot. What a lot is first is going through the process of getting through the judicial system and then getting himself cleared of this, because like I said earlier, just like Doug Williams said, he's got to do a lot before he wears those colors.
But what you do understand about this situation is that there is a corporate impact. When you have a business that's putting their name, their resources, their brand behind you, and they've worked with you before, with situations that have occurred in the past, you understand that you also have to respect that line. And so that's why you saw Richard Sherman come out and say General Manager John Lynch had to do what he had to do, regardless of what mitigating circumstances or what other details that we don't know fully in the public yet. What we know behind the scenes is different as well. But you understand why he had to make that break, because at the very least, Reuben Foster, for what I understand, knew what the understanding was between him and Lynch. And that part was broken. I think Richard Sherman is kind of underlining that as well. And so whereas he may understand certain things, may wish him well, may understand his family history, may understand why he tends to lean this and tends to lean that, all those other things, at the end of the day, it is the 49ers brand. They've already extended you, a few olive branches. And at this point, their decision is that they have to make a break.
Well, the NFL will continue to investigate. What you do hope, of course, is that Miss Ennis and Reuben Foster get the help that they clearly need. So we'll go back to football now. It is a case of something's got to give. The Saints boast the top run defense in the league, but will face off against the Cowboys. Zeke Elliott, he happens to be the league's top rusher. New Orleans dropped their first game of the season, and since then have not looked back. Here's Drew Brees on facing the suddenly hot Dallas Cowboys.
They're playing at a really high level right now. Obviously, they're hot. Last 3 weeks, defensively, they fly around. They're very well coached, very disciplined. They're taking the ball away. They're just doing all the things that great defenses do, getting pressure on the quarterback, good against the run. So really in every facet of what you would say is winning football, championship caliber football, these guys are doing it right now.
We've just got to go score. We got to do what we do on offense. Obviously, we have a lot of trust and faith in our defense. So it's not we've got to go in there and do this to stop their offense. We just got to simply play our game. We trust in our defense, our scheme, and everything that we have. So we go in there and handle our business. We feel good about it.
All right. This ought to be fun. I'm going to paraphrase at times, if you don't mind. Here we go. Here's what defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence said about the Saints offensive line. They're going to have to match our intensity. Shoot for 60 minutes straight. If you hit a person in the mouth and then they ain't doing what they're regularly doing, putting up 50 points, they start to get a little distressed. Now you got them where you want them, and then you just choke their ass out.
You did very well with that.
Right?
You were missing a few words.
I know. I can't read fully. Anyway, at least I got to say, choke their ass
One
out.
of the words.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna let someone else take it from here before I get myself in trouble, JoJo. What do you think when you hear that?
I like his honestness. I like his honesty. I like his candidness, and I don't mind that you had to jump over a few blanks and asterisks in that line. But to me, this is the type of stuff that fires the team up, lets you know where they stand, lets you know how they feel about it, and they've got pride in that defense. That team, that unit has been doing better than some people thought at the beginning of the season, specifically the defensive side. So let him speak how he wants to speak.
Yeah, and this is coming from one of your this is coming from one of your best players.
Yeah,
it's coming from DeMarcus
He's not
Lawrence,
wrong, by the way. I mean, nothing he said there doesn't prove true on the field.
I mean, I'm sure he's watching the film and seeing these defenses and seeing how the Saints are going up and down the field, scoring at will, and he's had enough. Yeah. I'm sure there comes a point where, too, your coaches continually talk about how good the other team is, and you just can't take it anymore.
Bill Belichick never did that.
Yeah. I'm tired of hearing how good Drew Brees is and how explosive this offense is. We're going to hit him in the mouth. I can understand right where he's coming from.
Right.
I got to say it publicly is unique like that. I mean,
we're going to talk a little bit more about players.
You didn't have some colorful language in your history.
A Thursday game too. It's
a short week.
Yeah,
it's going to happen fast, like tomorrow.
So be honest here, Coach. So you're sitting in your office, and I don't know if you didn't hear him say it. Probably you look down, you see that quote, and you think, I mean, you're his coach.
Well,
do you care, or do you think?
Always try to, and Teddy can attest to this because Bill is a master of it, but you try to kill your opponent with kindness. I don't think this was real kind. But on the other hand,
really.
What you always tell guys, it's okay to talk, but you better back it up.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, that can, forge a group together. Again, it's going to be a big test for them. There's no doubt. That's a very good offense. But that defense has a lot of pride. Rod Marinelli's done a great job with that group and to be where they are right now. And sometimes it's good to throw it all out there and say, hey, fellas, you better have my back here, and we better back it up.
Listen, talk the talk, but you got to walk the walk.
It worked with the Browns and the Bengals. Then Damaris Randall just come out and basically say, A.J. Green is not playing. We're about to put that beat down on it. And they backed up their words. It helped galvanize that team. Baker had a few things to say after the game as well. So, hey, sometimes putting it on your sleeve is firing people up.
And to understand the mentality of Sean Payton and how he talks trash himself and how intense that he gets on the sideline and how specifically he knows what's been said, he knows what they think, and how he would use that. Of course, he's sort of disciple of Bill Parcells, and how he would use that for his motivation on his team, because, that's not a quote that you interpret. You have to interpret a certain way.
I think it was clear.
It's straight up clear.
You use part of the words, though.
Yeah, and I still got the message loud and clear.
And you could hear the blanks. I don't even know why Dan Graziano's on Twitter talking about he can't understand what expletive. No, you can hear exactly which expletive
he was
go where.
Come on, Dan. Dan pretending he doesn't know those words. All right, listen, I told you we'd cover all 32 teams. We have covered 7. Not a bad start. Teddy keeps us on track. So 7 down, 25 to go in our effort to bring you news on all 32 teams. Also still to come, the least surprising thing of the season, Leonard Fournette will sit out this weekend when the Jaguars face the Colts. We'll sit down and talk about that with a cup of Joe. And later, the Vikings on the road in New England on Sunday. It's a pivotal